Alright, let's check out what's going on with MATIC. I haven't checked this out in a while. In the short term, it looks like you are holding up okay. We've actually recently backtested the 0.5 Fibonacci, and it looks like we're having a tiny bounce at this moment in time. If you come over to the weekly time frame, we are landsliding. That is the problem. In the macro term, you can still see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks now of just a solid collapse against the USD price. And my main problem with this is you're still seeing the volume is exponentially increasing. I mean, this week we have 183 million of volume traded to the downside. 2 weeks before that, we had 186. So in my opinion, obviously it's only Saturday today. By tomorrow, I imagine this is going to stack up a bit more. And this is going to mean, you draw a line of best fit and you're going to see something like this where we're still exponentially increasing. Obviously, this is including this data point as well. But if we just draw it as a line of best fit, the line isn't going to attribute too much higher just for that one data point. But still, very solid uptrend on the volume. That is always indicative that when you're dropping on these higher time frames and volume is still increasing, it's normally a sign that you have further to go. Now in the very short term, it looks like we found a tiny local bottom on this bounce here. We have fallen through the floor on it, so I'm going to be removing this. I'm going to be removing some of these older trend lines because, like I said, it's been quite some time since I covered it. From the low to the high, you can also see we've wildly capitulated below every single Fibonacci at this moment in time. So I don't know why I've got the 382. That doesn't really matter too much. Let's get rid of, unless this correlates to here. No, let's get rid of this as well, just for keepsake. But you can see this 786. This was really your last line in the sand. In my opinion, this uptrend that we saw from the low all the way up to the high up here is a trend that's best to find on the weekly. That means if you do have a weekly close below your 786 Fibonacci, which we already have, and it not only looks like that, but it looks like we're getting ready for our second weekly close. Coming over to the monthly, I don't think we've had a monthly yet. We're still on the monthly, but we're clearly in a huge landslide at this moment in time. So I wouldn't be betting against the grain. You can still see monthly time frames volume is exponentially increasing. Daily time frame, we're kind of rounding down in terms of bearish volume, which is a good sign. This could be one of the earlier signs of a reversal, but at this moment in time, I wouldn't be banking on it. I'm still expecting lower price targets for the altcoins. You can also see that we do have a fairly nice W target. So if we do break out, where do we really need to keep our eyes on? Number one, this 786 Fibonacci at 86 cents is absolutely imperative that we break over the top of it. If we never make it above that level, then I hate to say it, but we're not going to be breaking bullish whatsoever. It doesn't matter if we go almost up to it. If you start seeing us start coming for that 80, 85, be very careful, because we haven't retested this 786 as resistance yet. I mean, you can argue that we kind of came down and back tested near it, and I would agree as well, but we haven't had like a clear cut solid breakdown, solid retest, and then pushing away from it. We kind of just made a red green red formation. You can see it was we kind of retested above it as well. I'm trying to see where we could have. We kind of retested the lows of this as well, and we also retested more so the EMA ribbons at this moment in time, in my opinion. So we are going to be having a big area of resistance coming in. Let's say we come up something like this and it takes us a couple of days. This is going to mean that you are not out of the blue until we do take out this massive box. And MATIC is something that I've been sitting on the sidelines for quite some period of time now. I have been making TA on it. At least I think it stopped getting a decent amount of views. I think a lot of people moved on to different altcoins, so I kind of stopped covering it. But that is also reflected in the charts. You can see that a lot of people are moving on to other things. The weekly EMA ribbons are starting to converge and could be flipping bearish in the next week or so. So I mean, even if we do see a huge run up, we could even see a push up to 115 for a macro rejection. That would be a nice breakout trade if we did manage to get above this $1 though. It's not really too great of a trade in terms of percentage wise though, so yeah, that might be something that I would not really be looking to trade at the moment. So at this moment in time, we're really in a rock and a hard place. We're losing a tiny bit of bearish momentum, but I would like to highlight the last time we lost a bit of bearish momentum, it was simply a retest of the EMA ribbons, and then we rounded down. So if we do something like this, and once again, if you start rounding down and you lose momentum and you don't start coming up and taking out these highs in the next couple of days, then unfortunately, in my opinion, we are going to have a long way to go before MATIC breaks bullish. So that's pretty much all I've got. You know, higher time frames, you have unfortunately moved below all of your moving averages. You're below your 786. So at this moment in time, I think all altcoins are probably going to get slaughtered against Bitcoin. I've been saying, like, very adamantly in a lot of my videos, I do think Bitcoin is moving down to 22,000. I think that is going to be the bear market bottom. That's just my opinion, but you can see a lot of warning signs. Like the volume on Bitcoin is not diminishing, it's still very, very exponential. The RSI is nowhere near coming up to the trend line, and previously, as we broke out of this trend line in the bear market, this was the bear market bottom. Like, this was when it was confirmed to be the bottom. If you simply bought the breakout, even on the back test, you were pretty much buying the exact bottom. I think we measured this last time. You would have bought 10% away from the exact bottom. That's kind of what I'm planning on at the moment. I think there's a lot of charts, Bitcoin dominance specifically. The last time we were kind of building up a channel in the downside like we are now, this was actually the 2018 bear market. And as we broke out of this was solidifying that Bitcoin was in a bear market, and altcoins got destroyed as Bitcoin started taking up a higher market cap dominance. Bear in mind, the price of Bitcoin went down because Bitcoin's market cap went down, but the Bitcoin dominance still skyrocketed, meaning that the market cap takes up more Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means that on average, more people are continuing to hold Bitcoin, or they're continuing to sell their altcoins into Bitcoin positions. And if you see what's going on right now, we're really poking our head over the top of this. And if we backtest this and go back off to the races, then I'm telling you, you can see a lot of altcoins like MATIC get absolutely destroyed against their Bitcoin pairs. So where do I think we could potentially be coming down? Well, the lows of this pattern are all the way down at 29 cent. You also have a tiny bit of confluence with there, because just above there, so 29 cent and 31 cent, you've got a kind of like a double area of support, the 1.618 from the most micro impulse we've had. If we do come down to lower price targets, this is personally where I expect we're going to be moving down to. So I think MATIC could have anywhere between another 52 and 54% drop left to go against the US dollar. I know that sounds quite brutal, but I'm telling you, I was here in the 2018 bear market. If we do capitulate out of this triangle pattern, at least in my opinion, based on my TA and living through this before, everyone's going to leave their altcoins, everyone's going to dump their altcoins and go into Bitcoin. And it's not like I'm just saying this is what we did last year, so this is what we have to do this year. Obviously, we don't have to do anything. Bitcoin can do whatever it wants. I just think, looking at the charts, looking at the Bitcoin dominance especially, this supports my theory. So all of the charts at this moment in time all support my theory. Like, every altcoin BTC pair is getting slaughtered at this moment in time. So just to show you MATIC Bitcoin, you know, we don't need to go into a deep dive on the TA in this, but you can clearly see we're capitulating below these lows. That is a bad sign. You can also see we've run up, we've got one top, we've got two top. That is a double top. Not only is it a double top, it is a big M pattern. Not only is it an M pattern, but we've lost your moving averages. Not only have you lost all of that, but let's check the trend. You've broken below your 618. So it is at least likely, in my opinion, that we are going to move down another 34% against Bitcoin. So what does this mean? If I think the MATIC is going to move down 34% against Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin's going to move down another 20 or 30%, give or take, then I think this really nicely lines up with my prediction of a 52% drop on MATIC. Because if Bitcoin comes down to 22,000, that's a 25% drop, and if MATIC drops 51%, that would mean that you're moving down about between 25 and 35% against Bitcoin. That is my opinion on what we are going to be doing. Like I said, the Bitcoin dominance seems to agree with me that we are breaking out. MATIC USD is clearly, at least in my opinion, very bearish in the macro term, and MATIC BTC still has a ways to go before it does break bullish. So that's really all I've got. I just wanted to give a quick update on MATIC. Haven't covered it in a while, but doesn't seem like too much has changed. I still think MATIC BTC has lower to go, unfortunately, and also MATIC USD, I would be predicting a move down to 30 cents. So that's personally what I think is going to be happening for MATIC. My trading plan, like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, is only to buy Bitcoin, because all of the altcoin pairs that I'm looking at against Bitcoin, they're almost all getting slaughtered, apart from, you know, some of them are up on the day, and you might be thinking, oh, that's great, but, you know, you zoom out and you can still see, you know, we're up on the day, we might be up on the week, but we're really not up on any of these in the past couple of months or so. So trend is your friend until the end. That's all I've got to MATIC. That's all I've got on MATIC. Best of luck. If you do think that we are going to remain bullish, then you would need to hold 58 cent. If you capitulate below 58, you would have lost your 618. At that point, you know, we do not have I don't think the 786 would come into play. I think we would just pretty much come straight down. That's all I've got for MATIC. Best of luck if you're in it. As always, cowboy out. Peace.